Greetings, all ladles, jelly spoons, and all other non-binary kitchen utensils. This is the Gravy Wheels podcast. I am your host, Andrew. With me, my co-hosts who are not talking.
And I'm your host, the Kool-Aid Man. A.K.A. Hova.
Frank, you're staring.
I'm Franklin.
A.K.A. Big Meat 72.
That's your Grindr account.
Yeah. And it's banned forever. Because yeah.
As opposed
we
to
won't get into why.
Which was Adequate Meat 72.
Adequate. I like it. Rolls off the tongue. I love how you're matching your background today.
Yeah, I was trying to blend in. I was hoping you wouldn't talk to me at all.
Sorry, listeners not watching the video. Andrew is wearing a beautiful ketchup and mustard mixed with blueberry jam. No, there's no blueberry jam on the shirt, just in the background. Yeah. Speaking of ketchup and mustard, I just had, dare I say, 3 slices of something I've never had before from Casey's, which happens to be the best pizza in the Midwest, aside from
Hamburger
actual
pizza?
pizzerias.
Did you have the hamburger pizza?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'd never had that before. The taco pizza is fantastic, and I've always gone that route, but this time we tried that, and that ketchup mustard sauce, I was super skeptical, man, but they nailed it.
Yeah, that's tough for me to wrap my mind around.
It works.
Yeah, given the New York status of pizza that you are used to.
No, that's all horseshit. I hate that whole pizza thing. The only important pizza here is being dragged down into a Subway by a rat.
All right. Dude, I don't know what it is about Casey's, but they nail pizza, bro. Their taco pizza is probably the best taco pizza I've had. And they figured out how to make a burger pizza, dude. It works. I'm telling you.
How long is the list of taco pizzas you've had?
Probably 2 or 3 at the most.
I just wanted to know what your
Dude, I live in Sedalia, Missouri, bro.
I know.
There's an option.
I think that you're obviously going to find more taco pizzas than I am.
Despite
the disparity in pizzeria density.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. I mean, there's limited options here for everything. I get excited whenever I find a Kool-Aid shirt at our Walmart because that's the only place you can buy clothing here.
Yeah.
Basically.
I remember this.
What are you going to do? Yeah. Now the internet's a thing, though. So, that it's better in that aspect.
Hey, do you guys smell anything?
Horse shit.
Yeah, actually. It smells like leather and sweat and whiskey.
That's definitely me.
It smells like leather, sweat, and whiskey. Is there a hint of winning? Oh,
maybe. It's hard to tell.
It's this.
Oh my god, I need it.
Look.
Where? Nice. Ooh. I have a zipper. Ooh. Zipper? What kind of crown's in it? Is it just regular crown?
It's regular crown.
I've got a... Yeah, go ahead and explain.
For the ladles and jelly spoons listening at home, Frank has produced a Crown Royal bag that looks to be made out of leather, and it has a sort of football lacing pattern on it that hides within it a zipper. And now he's
I would say embroidered.
Sure. I don't know the method with which it is affixed.
So I have a Crown bag that it was marketed as Chiefs. And it's red, and it just has 2 zeros. It looks like a jersey. Yeah, but they just sell it to any, area that has a red team of anything. It didn't actually have a Chiefs logo on it, so that's pretty cool. I didn't know they had those. You get a Hy-Vee or something?
Yeah, Hy-Vee is just chock full of all the Chiefs shit.
Yeah, Hy-Vee's they're smart.
Hy-Vee is where collectors go.
There's a smile.
That's right. That's right. Collectors of cheese.
The thinking man's grocery store.
There's a smile in every aisle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did you guys see how much?
So,
hold on.
Go ahead.
Do y'all still have Price Chopper?
Is
Price Chopper still a thing?
And they're the
We
they're the
don't.
Constantinos. They're the high end price choppers. They're not the price choppers that we had back in Sedalia a long time ago. They're all
I was gonna say,
fancy.
did we have a price? So was that before Woods bought it?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay, all right. And I know there was Bing's too, so I think it might have been like a Woods and a Bing's and a Price Chopper, and then Woods bought both of those out because now it's just Woods, but there's only 2 location. And one of them's like some call center or something now. The one out there on the East 50.
Yeah.
Not that anyone cares about this other than us. Sorry.
No. I mean, when I was growing up in Kansas City, we had like a Price Chopper. That was the grocery store that we went to all the time. That was like the one big one.
The one. I am the one.
Well, do you guys remember seeing me show how much I paid for gas the other day?
Yes.
It was like
I don't remember that.
I paid like 43 cents a gallon.
Cents off per gallon with your purchases, your groceries.
Yeah.
Woods does that too. And when I lived on that side of town, I used it all the time. But it's just, dude, in Sedalia, it's like it doesn't matter. Walmart still always ends up being the place you shop at because you need that one other thing. You know, you're like, well, I need, like today we needed like a new dog collar for Minnie because she grew out of her first one. Like you got to go to Walmart. You just one stop shop instead of going. You know what I mean? And a lot of times their food's cheaper too. So.
I don't remember. Do you guys have Dillons out there?
Very rarely. Dillons aren't much of a thing anymore. No.
It's so weird. Like I remember when I moved to Lawrence and there were like a shitload of Dillonses out there.
Huh.
It's like I don't know. It's like a weird state line divide between Missouri and Kansas where Kansas has all the Dillons.
Yeah, there's only one in KC. They're all on the Kansas side.
Yeah.
I remember opening a steakhouse in Kentucky. I think it was the Campbellsville store, and they just told me, the boss or whatever one day was like, hey, head over to Kroger and pick up whatever we happen to be out of that day. It might have been milk or whatever. And I just looked at him like an idiot because I was like, I don't know what go to the what?
Go to the Wawa
yeah,
and get some hot dogs.
Exactly. I would have been equally as confused, especially, but I mean, especially the way people in Kentucky talk. I'm sure he just like spat it out so fast and he just head over to the Kroger and pick up some. I'm like, what? Yeah. But speaking of cents off per gallon, I'm Casey's. I hate to suck their big old D.
No, you don't.
I don't. I really don't. I love Casey's. They started a rewards program just a few months ago, and you can get all your purchases every time you get gas or anything in store. You can either get Casey's cash or you can get cents off per gallon. And I'm just over $1 off per gallon, but so when we take our trip to Texas for Christmas, hopefully by then I'll have like $1.25 off ish. So I'll be getting gas for like 30-40 cents, hopefully, something like that, which would be nice because we'll fill my truck and Katie's car.
What happened to your wrist there, Frank?
I heard it.
How'd you hurt it?
Yes, you did.
Well,
it was an unfortunate fisting accident.
Yeah. So
That's a shame.
Me and Hova's mom don't talk a whole lot anymore. But
as you shouldn't. I told you.
She zigged when you zagged.
Yeah, it was like. Anyways, like I don't know, about 2 months or so ago, I hurt my my right shoulder, and so I kind of quit bowling on league, even though I have my own. I'm like a team captain. I got my own team and stuff, but I still have to pay like $25 every single week for lineage in the prize fund, and I can't really get out of it.
That's expensive, man. I never would have guessed that league bowling was that expensive.
Well, but if we were going to have all of the teams that we should have had this year, the prize fund would have been like $60,000.
That's insane.
So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anyways, so I missed like 5 or 6 weeks, and I had to go back, and I drilled a ball left-handed, and I threw it once in practice, and something popped in here, and so then I had to bowl the 3 games with my right-handed stuff. As soon as that happened, I was like, "Fuck this!" And I went to my workshop and got one of my 3-ball tournament rollers, and just came up and just fucking got shit hammered, drunk, and bowled.
What was a? You just spit that out like we knew what that is. What's a 3?
We'll be here all night.
3-fingered sloth toe.
So you have like balls, like multiple bowling balls. You don't just have one bowling ball. You have to have a collection of bowling ball in today's game.
No, I just get the lightest one in the kids section and throw it as hard as I can overhand, Frank. So that doesn't.
You get kicked out for that. You get kicked the fuck out for that.
All right, fair enough.
I got these wimpy noodly arms, so I always have to use like a 8-pound ball.
So, all right, we're gonna talk about this, and then we're gonna get off the fucking bowling subject. All right, and then I'm gonna segue into something else that is somewhat related to this, involving Nintendo.
Wii bowling.
But here,
Okay.
All right. So how heavy a bowling ball is depends on like two things. If there's a weighted core on the inside of it, which makes the balls hook, it actually controls the shape, but then also how many parts per million of air is injected into the filler material. So a lighter ball is almost like styrofoam because it has more parts per million of air in it. So that's why it's lightweight. The density of the urethane is the same, but you inject more air into it and it's lighter. So whenever adults throw those like 8-pound bowling balls, is the outer shell is actually harder than the inside, so they actually spider web out and crack and fall apart. So fuck you if you're an adult and you're throwing a child's 8-pound bowling ball. I don't care if you were limp-wristed like Andrew, just don't do it.
This is all
Dude.
I got.
Do you remember when we would go on bowling field trips? And that's what there was a few kids in our class that would do that. They would just get the lightest one and just chuck it as hard as they could.
Now that I've been doing this for like 13 years, I'd fucking kick him out. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, PE coach, come over here. That guy, make him sit on the fucking bus for the rest of the day.
No,
Oh, you said you're gonna.
You'd see me
Go ahead.
throwing one of those, and you'd be like, "No, he throws it the way an 8-year-old throws it."
He has to do that. Yeah, you'd understand. You'd
So,
have sympathy.
You'd be like, "No, he's using that tool the way it's meant to be used."
I know you want to get off the bowling subject, but what's the craziest shit you've seen at a bowling alley? As far as like, I guess this. No.
This is.
Okay. Well,
I'm so afraid.
Maybe some other day we'll come up with some ideas. But segue. Do you guys know what happened to the past Nintendo CEO? Where he's off at now?
No, where'd old Fizeme go?
before Bowser,
Fizeme
before Bowser.
went to go work
you buy an island.
for Brunswick.
Nah. They were so impressed with his Wii bowling.
Exactly.
Here's the other thing, though, is that the Brunswick company that he went for is actually the mother company Brunswick, which no longer owns Brunswick Bowling. It's basically all the fitness equipment and all of like the super yachts and super boats and shit that they make. Because as of like 5 years or so ago, the bowling and billiards division of Brunswick was like less than 7% of their money stream. So they just sold that off to a private third-party investment group. And then so all of Brunswick now is basically just like high-end fucking boats, like Mercury Marine and shit. So, yeah.
Jeez.
So
I had no idea.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there we go. Now that everybody hates that.
No, I figured that hopefully Brunswick was then working on a game console that they could launch.
Speaking of which,
Never know.
Are we speaking of witches?
Burn them.
Anybody have anything to say about any of what Phil Spencer and anybody's been saying over at the old Xbox about some things going on?
What it be saying? What it be saying?
Phil Spencer's
I don't
basically
know.
he's like basically like, it's not out of the question for us to offer Xbox Game Pass on the Nintendo Switch and the PS5.
They hinted at that a long time ago.
Yeah.
They've been leaving that door open.
And all of the first party games are going to be on PC whenever they come out on Xbox Series X5X.
I think we knew that already though, because at the big like Xbox Series X showcase, every single thing said available on PC, except for literally one game. And I'm sure that was just like a whoopsie doodle.
Well, then it's a refresher.
That's good fucking news.
I saw that people were starting to get pissed off though because so they're going to bring Devil May Cry 5 is going to get a next gen port, and on the Series X it will have ray tracing enabled, so it'll have like all these beautiful reflections and shadows and stuff. But on the Series S, it will not. It will not support ray tracing. I guess I didn't realize that the disparity in power was that much.
The Series S is a pretty pretty significant downgrade. From what I understand, it's got like the current specs of the PS4 Pro.
Oh, no.
I think that's how I heard it explained. Yeah.
God, that's bad. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Super affordable. But yeah, it's basically like the way I look at it is the Series S is like the continuation of the Xbox One series. You know what I mean?
The Xbox One and a half.
It's like the Xbox One X 0.5 or whatever. I don't know. And the Xbox One X is the only actually new next-gen console.
I have been seeing people are starting to get hands-on with PS5s now.
Yeah.
Starting to see like things trickle out because I'm sure everybody's like embargoed to hell and back, but there's still little tidbits that are coming out.
Yeah.
And but all I was really seeing was somebody talking about playing the pack-in game Astro Boy something or other. Astrobot, not Astro Boy.
That's that Kotaku article, yeah.
Yeah. And they're talking about how really good the controller feels. Not necessarily in like an ergonomic sense, but like it has all these haptic elements and stuff in it, and like rumbling triggers that the Xbox has had, and all kinds of like different feedback things, like the kind of HD rumble sort of shit that the Switch has done.
Right.
Apparently, it's like it's really nice, and he's like, this is the closest thing to like something next generation that I've seen so far. This sort of feeling. So that's cool.
You know the thing that I'm really looking forward to? I'm looking forward to everybody starting to get their hands on their PS5s. And then when they go to incorporate it in their current setups, like their entertainment centers and gaming setups, it's just going to be like no matter how they try to lay it down or stand it up or whatever, they're just going to end up sitting it on the floor next to their desk because that's the only place it's only going to fit there.
Yeah,
I can't believe how big that thing is. It's
have
insane.
to like go behind the TV or something.
Yeah, and not only I find that I'm one of the few people that, or maybe I'm not, but I feel like the majority of people like shit all over the design. I think the design is actually pretty cool. Before I realized how fucking big it is, because I feel like with that big of a console, they would have been better off just making it a rectangle. You know what I mean? Because then I feel like you could maybe. I mean, obviously, I guess it's the same. You know, you're still going to have your highest point and your widest point, but it just looks. I don't know. I feel like it would have looked like it would have maybe at least looked like it had a lower profile if they would have just made it a rectangle.
I think if they would have made it a rectangle, though, it would have ended up looking like one of those fucking old like stereo receivers. It just would have been this giant metal box.
Wood. Yeah,
you're right. Sitting on your shelf. But
another thing though is that did you see that whenever the PS5s come out, there's going to be an update for it, like right out of the box. You're going to have to update. So that way they can control the fans differently for different games, the cooling fans.
Yeah,
I heard about that. Yeah.
Oh, and then they're just going to keep continually updating it on like usage data. But at least they're doing something. They're trying something. You know?
I like that. I mean, that makes sense if you're able to do that.
Did you also see that there's already a website called like I don't want to speculate on what it's called, but there's some sort of a website out there that's selling PS5 shell kits already in various different colors, and the console's not even out yet, obviously. But yeah, there's a full-on website already selling shell kits out there.
I wonder if you can go on.
I think they're like $60 a piece.
Go on a auction site and buy a dummy model yet. You know, like
I don't know.
Whenever a new phone is supposed to come out, like they have these dummy models made up for it, so that so like case makers can get the measurements right, so that the
specs right
can day and date the cases and stuff.
They are already on sale.
Did you find them?
Yeah,
they got some sexy leopard print on there, or what?
Yeah, there's.
I think they were just basics. Oh, is there a camo? And what was I right on the pricing? They about $60, something like that.
This one is like $50, but there's multiple places out there.
I'm sure like D-Brand and stuff will be making them too.
Right. It's kind of cool though that it's an option. Like, if there was an option for that for Xbox, I would probably take advantage of it. Especially when PlayStation isn't the best when it comes to having cool special edition units. Anyways, you know, that's probably your best option right there. Is going to be those shells.
I feel like this generation they finally had some decent special editions though, because like the PlayStation,
like current gen.
this generation. Because there was like the PlayStation 1 throwback one that they released. It was like the 25th anniversary one, I think.
Oh, it was like gray, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all gray and it had the same coloration. The controllers had the same sort of color pattern on them.
I think I remember that, yeah.
And they also did like a PlayStation Day one, I think, that was blue, and it was a dark blue and it was translucent, and it had sort of like gold embellishments on it. The controllers did too. They looked really good. They even released like a line of the headphones. Basically, every official Sony like accessory that goes with the PS4 they released in that colorway, and it looked really cool.
So they finally started catching on.
Yeah, they're a little late.
I think there was a white PS3, and I think I saw it like one time, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's sexy!" Just because they're so there was a white PS3 Slim.
Yeah, you linked that in the WhatsApp a while back because I looked that up. You can buy them on eBay.
Oh, I found a PS2 Slim over the summer, and I picked that up and sold it. Those white PS2 Slims are sexy little consoles. If I had any reason to keep it, I would have.
I have a white PS4, and then I had a white PS4. Now I have a white PS4 Pro, but yeah.
Nice.
I'll always buy my consoles in white, probably, because I like the clean look of it.
Why not? You know.
Hey, what are you guys gonna do with the check whenever you guys get it? Your refund check?
What check?
Our refund check?
Yeah.
Taxes?
No. For your refund
From George.
For pre-ordering.
From George Soros?
No, from pre-ordering Cyberpunk.
Because it's vaporware.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet.
I'll probably just take it and then go buy Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I won't do that.
I haven't been excited for an Assassin's Creed game in
ever
10 years. So I'm kind of excited to play Valhalla. It's my aesthetic. I love Viking shit. So I feel like I might finally dip back in.
Dipping the balls in. I hear you on that.
So what?
I know.
Go ahead.
No, go on. No.
No, like, what do we know exactly why they delayed it once again? Because I know that the developers found out as soon as everybody else on Twitter found out. Mm-hmm. Everybody found out at the same time.
Oh shit! I didn't hear that.
Yeah, the game has gone gold. They're printing discs of it. Like it's
so maybe a distribution issue or something.
No. The finished code is on the discs. What all of this additional development time is now is for a day one patch.
Oh damn! So why did it go gold then?
I don't know. Also, almost certainly means that we are going to start seeing copies leak out into the wild well before the street date.
It's way harder for that to happen these days, though, because almost everything that I get early access, you still have to have a code from the developer to unlock access to the game. Now, I understand that there's going to be people that can probably get around that, but I'm just saying it's not going to be as easy as back in the day. Like, I took off 2 weeks whenever Modern Warfare 3 came out. I took 2 weeks off work because I knew that every time Call of Duty came out, you could play it like a week and a half before the street date of the game. You know what I mean? That's just not the case anymore. But yeah.
I mean, there are retailers here that I have bought stuff from before who don't give a shit about street date. They'll start selling stuff when they get it.
So no, I know that. But I'm saying if you put that disc into your console, it won't play without a code to allow you to.
Yeah, well, I've in my experience, yeah.
What's the most recent thing that you've done? And you're probably coming more from PlayStation. I know with Xbox, maybe the Xbox security is a little better than PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I've just that's been my experience.
Metal Gear Solid 5 was one I remember getting well before it was supposed to come out, and got to spend some time with that before.
And then multiplayer games are even more secure because they literally don't turn the servers on until, a lot of time anymore. It's usually like 24 hours. They might have them on before the street date just so that like friends and family can be stress testing the servers. And if for people that don't know at home, I feel like 99% of the people that are listening to this podcast probably already have an idea of what going gold means. But when a game goes gold, it basically means that the game is fully developed, ready to go, no issues, ready to be printed. So that's why it's very odd that it went gold they started printing it, and now they've delayed it 21 days.
Yeah, but that also like now means virtually nothing because every
Right.
game has a day one patch. You know,
Yeah.
the content that's on the disc is almost irrelevant at this point because you're going to download 80 gigs of patches on the first fucking day, anyways.
You mean games like ET can't happen anymore, where they ship it and it just literally doesn't work?
No. Well, I mean,
Why didn't they just patch it? You know,
that's a good point. Patch it by going
Just
to
patch
Walmart and getting a new copy for the same price that you bought the old one for.
it. Yep, basically.
I feel like that approach actually
I'm
works
happy though.
that approach works really well for some things. I think I think it makes a lot of sense for fighting games, especially like Street Fighter, who instead of now selling you just another like $50 copy of the game with like a couple new characters and stuff, they can just bolt on a little DLC, you know, throw some balance changes into it, say here's 5 new guys, but it's not going to cost you $50 again.
Right.
So I appreciate that sometimes, but
I don't know. My first thought whenever I heard that Cyberpunk was delayed was, oh, good, because now there's not so much shit crammed into the same 9-day frame because you've got PS5, the Xbox Series X, and Call of Duty all coming out. And then the Cyberpunk was like 4 days after Xbox or after Call of Duty came out or something like that. So
yeah, November.
And I don't know how much. Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to be into Cyberpunk anyway. So I'm glad I can wait until December. What is it? December 10th.
Something like that.
Yeah, so that'll be good. They'll still do well with that release date, I feel like.
Oh yeah, I mean totally. They'll be fine. I'm not worried about Cyberpunk doing well.
Yeah, that'll be good.
They'll be all right.
Wasn't the initial release date like March?
Yeah, it was a hell of a long time ago. It's been delayed.
That's crazy.
3 times this year.
I think. Yeah, it might have been. Was it holiday of last year? Or I can't remember the initial release date. It might have been March, and then they moved it back to summer or something, and then moved it back to November. I don't know. It'll come out eventually.
I was all for it when they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make sure that we finish this game. We're not gonna crunch, and we're gonna get it out, when it's ready to come out." And then, like a month ago, they were like, we're actually gonna crunch for like a month and a half now."
Could be wrong, but do you remember the last game that I can think of that did that? No, I know for sure. Crackdown 3. You remember how many times they fucking delayed that game?
Oh yeah, got delayed a bunch.
And then, because I remember I played it at E3 like 3 years before it came out, or something just ridiculous. And so that's kind of scary because Crackdown 3 came out and it was still pretty much total dog shit. Now, obviously, it's totally different studios and stuff like that, but
yeah. Do you remember Doom 2016? How great that game was?
2016. Oh yeah, like
the most recent of like the new Dooms, or not
before before the sequel to the newest
one. So yeah, that had been essentially in development since like Doom 3 came out, and they worked on it for years and years and years. And at the I want to say like a year and a half or a year before Doom 2016 ended up coming out, they scrapped everything. They were like, this is not what we want to make. And then they fucking whipped together Doom 2016, which ended up being amazing. And
it was fantastic, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so weird to see that happen. Like, Destiny's had stuff like that happen too. Like, the first game got all kinds of fucked up, and they had to sort of cobble it together.
Right. I still feel like that game got not near as much recognition as it should have gotten, because I remember playing that game and kind of praising it, and so many people were just not happy with how it came out. I don't know. People were saying it was like generic. People were saying that it was stupid how you could just have 15 weapons in your pocket and you never had to reload and shit like that. And, those were just the people that didn't grow up with Doom like we did, because obviously that is what Doom is. Yeah. But I thought the game was fucking fantastic.
It was a blast. It was totally great.
Yeah, let's not ruin anything because I just started playing it last night.
Oh,
Just
did you?
enjoy
I'm excited for you.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Hope you have a great time.
The best thing that for that game is just to have a good pair of headphones and just fucking crank that shit up and just go to town.
So, well, all right. So this is why I'm a little late to the game on the old Doom 2016. Is my old 2 computers couldn't run it, and then I downloaded it whenever I got this new rig, and I didn't start to play it yet. But Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Beta on the old PC shit out on me hardcore, and I can't sign into my account. So I went back to Steam, and I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot. So I played that for like a good 2 hours or so last night. I like it so far. It's fun. But yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
It rules, yeah.
It's definitely a good.
It's just really fun. It's a throwback to that sort of Quake style of shooter where you're just moving, shooting. That's it.
Yeah.
Circle
just
straight.
Mindless gore shooting.
It's still
death metal.
It's super fun though.
Just like this game that I was trying to play.
Before we get off the subject of Doom, though, I did want to say that there's a book, Jason Schreier. He's a writer at Kotaku. I don't know how to say his name. He wrote like a couple years ago that was all of these. It's called Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, and it's all these different stories of like troubled game development stories. Like it's told by like the devs and producers and people really involved in the making of those games. And stuff like Diablo 3 is in there. Like I don't know if you remember when that came out. Everybody hated it because it had a real money auction house.
Yeah.
And then now, if you play Diablo 3, it's great. It's super fun, but it took a long time to get there. So any sort of stories like that are in there, and it's great. It's worth a read.
So what is that, Frank? The audio version viewers don't view listeners, viewers. They don't know you're sitting there shaking your head, Frank. You got to talk to them.
To me, that's looking like maybe a Tomb Raider background, perhaps?
That's what I was thinking, Tomb Raider. But I think she's holding a sword or something, which doesn't... I guess it could be.
That looks like a Buddha in the back to me.
It's Shadow Warrior, too. Which is another, like, fast pace, hack and slash, shoot 'em up. The story is relatively funny, comedic. Gameplay is sometimes a little too fast for me. It's almost like it's faster than Doom at some points. But I don't know. I don't know. I've been enjoying, the past like 7 hours I put into it.
I think I got that game as part of PlayStation Plus or something. I got it for free. And I could not play it for longer than like an hour or half an hour. But it was because of the writing. It was because I could not fucking stand any of the jokes. Or like even the voice acting, anything. I couldn't. No.
I don't know how they
sounds bad.
It's like this game should have been canceled. All the dialogue and stuff should have been fucking canceled. Like that's how bad it is. It's like I'm surprised, but
it's like all your base are belong to us bad.
No, like racial stereotypes.
Yeah. Like postal level humor, Duke Nukem style humor. It's just like
right.
That shit don't work.
Huh. Interesting.
It was barely funny then.
Right.
Well,
that's like a hard thing to do, to make video games that are actually funny. The ones that actually pull that off are pretty few and far between.
Was that Trover Saves the Universe? That game had some humor to it. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that makes sense, because you're coming from a writing team with a pedigree,
Right, yeah, they actually, And the South Park games are funny, obviously. Which we still need dude. We still need an updated South Park 64 game. Why have they not done that yet? Don't shake your head, Andrew. You know it needs to happen.
I don't know why. That was the only, I couldn't play GoldenEye for a while because it was too violent. So I had to play the game with the children peeing on each other.
You gotta have the piss snowballs and the dodgeballs. The Nerf guns, the Terrence and Phillip dolls.
Less violent, certainly, but
Gray.
think about everything else you're losing in there.
Well, yeah. I don't know, man. I want it. That game was awesome. Giant turkeys and shit.
Yeah. Speaking of like old games, I have been playing through. This is actually a brand new game, but it harkens back to like the old mascot platformers of the like PS1 era. I've been playing Pumpkin Jack. Do you have either of you guys know anything about that?
Pocket Jack?
Pumpkin Jack.
Pumpkin Jack? Oh, you cut out for a second for me. Nope, not familiar.
Pumpkin Jack.
Pumpkin Jack.
Pumpkin Jack. Pumpkin Jack is a like 3D platformer in the style of like Medieval. Do you remember those PS1 games? Probably not.
Mm-hmm. I remember them. I didn't play them.
So it's very much like a kind of linear progression. You play through the levels. It also has like kind of a Crash Bandicoot feel to it too. It was made by like one guy. It was made by like a one-man development team, and it's
for him.
Great. It's fucking good. It's really, really fun and like pretty straightforward, and it has a lot of collectibles in it, but they're the kind of collectibles that if you are paying attention, you can pick up all of them the first time through a level, which I like.
I like the art style.
It looks great. Like the writing is pretty funny in it. The voice acting is good. Well, there's not a ton of it, but there's good voice acting in it. But it's it's like it's pretty cheap. I bought it for like $20 off a Humble store.
You're just all about these Halloween themed games, these spookies.
Oh well, fuck yeah!
You like them spookies?
I do. I'll play basically any game that lets me have a jack-o'-lantern for a head.
True.
So, I'm deep in the pocket of that right now. It's really fun. I like it a lot. Strong recommend. It's on Switch too, I think.
Hey.
Huh?
Hey.
What do you call a pumpkin you can have sex with?
Any pumpkin.
Your mom.
An ejaculantern.
All right.
No. Oh no.
I'll give it to you.
Oh no. You ever play Super Lucky's Tale?
Yeah, I tried it out. Yeah.
Did you not like it?
No, I didn't dislike it. It just didn't grab me.
I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good little platformer. Some fun puzzles and stuff like that. I think there's like a sequel now, or at least like a pretty big DLC or something for it. But I enjoyed my time with that.
It struck me as kind of like one of those collectathon style platformers.
Yeah,
know, like a Banjo-Kazooie type thing.
Right.
And that was never my shit. I would prefer like a Crash Bandicoot, something like a little more straightforward, a little more focused.
Right.
So that's again is why I like Pumpkin Jack, because the collectibles are like they're easy to find and they're like limited in number. There's like 20 in a level, and that's it. You don't have to worry about any other shit.
Did you get the new Crash?
No, I haven't actually. I still haven't even gotten the remasters. I would really like. I'd really like to play all of those again.
I got the remaster.
I played some of the remaster. I played some of the remaster, and it was pretty rough, man. I was like, yeah, I remember why I didn't play much Crash. And I got the new one too, and I haven't had time to play it yet, which I'm afraid that it's just going to be too difficult and going to discourage me.
I really liked like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot as a kid, but whenever I tried to replay through the Spyro remaster, no, there's just something wrong about it. But the Crash one I liked, but it's still pretty. It's like difficult in some spots, and you're like, "Why the fuck did I fall off? I didn't fall off." And you got to redo over and over and over again.
Yeah,
that's frustrating.
I remember some of that, but from what little I played at the remaster, I've just like played demos. It seems good. It seems like they did a solid job of like bringing it back. So,
did you guys know that they are remastering? It's actually, I think, close to launching the Need for Speed Most Wanted, the original.
No,
I didn't either, and I had people in my Discord talking about it this morning, and I was like, "What? They're remastering that?" Apparently, it's like going to be like $50 though, and if I remember correctly, in the first Need for Speed Most Wanted, you can't really do anything. Like, it was just very like
Just
Yeah.
there
races.
wasn't very many features yet.
Yeah.
It was so early. Yeah, it was just races, and you could get busted by cops. That was like
Yeah.
it.
But that had.
I mean, at the
awesome-
time, that was like
in the
you know, but-
multiplayer, the 2-player multiplayer was awesome on that game.
right.
It was.
I don't know. I mean, like, I could see picking it up just for nostalgia's sake. If it was at like a $30 price point or $20 price point, even better, obviously. But if they're trying to get like $60-$50 out of it, that's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah,
I'm not.
don't love that.
But it's EA, so
I'm not about.
maybe it'll be on Game Pass
Oh yeah,
eventually. I bet it will be for sure.
But my thing is, I'm not about. They come up with some new content, some new IP. Stop shoveling out fucking remakes and remasters. For the love of God, give us something different.
I feel like the development cost is just too much to make a game these days, and people are scared to push the envelope. You know what I mean? They want to go. They probably, whenever they pitch games to like the execs and stuff, I can imagine they're going to be, the first thing they're going to say is like, all right, how do we make money on it? Show us your strategy for your season pass and your DLC roadmap or whatever. You know what I mean? So like, if they don't go a way that's already figured out that has a for sure gonna make money plan, then it just doesn't get done anymore.
Yeah,
you don't have very many studios out there taking risks.
Game development costs so much money that it's like really hard to get people to pony up on a new idea. But
one exception. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but indie devs, now that computers like consumer computers are like getting stronger and the technology is becoming more accessible, like now you're seeing this like kind of AA game market emerge. You're seeing like these really high quality indie games come out for like $30-$40, and I love that shit. That's great.
One notable exception that I'd like to bring up, I actually shout out to High Res Studios. I got a care package today. They sent me a jacket. Rogue Company. That game had elements of Halo and Gears of War and CS:GO, but at least they mashed together so many different. It's hero third-person shooter with like elements of Halo 2 and Gears of War with a buy system similar to CS:GO and stuff like that. And I thought it was pretty fresh overall. Might have been a mashup of a lot of different things, but at least if you try to compare it to one singular thing, it's pretty fucking hard to compare Rogue Company to anything. And they just went free to play, by the way.
At this point, like, there have been so many different ideas tried in first-person shooters and third-person shooters that it's like, well, making a sort of Magpie version where you pick all the pieces that you like and sort of build your own is like a totally valid approach, I think. And Roko sounds like super fun. I'd say the only kind of issue with Roko is that it doesn't have its own sort of personality yet. Like it doesn't have a recognizable style. Like you see an Overwatch character and you're like, that's an Overwatch character. I know that sort of design language. But Roko's not quite there yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I never thought of that.
I think it could get there though if they keep it up because they're starting with a strong base.
Yeah, I want to try out that Dr. Disrespect map.
I played it.
Whoa.
Is it good?
Shit's aight.
I think my problem...
I was just getting bodied.
I think my biggest problem with a game like Roko is that like some people they always play one character and they don't branch out and try to play other characters.
It's straight up shameful.
Yeah. You need to try other things.
I had one pizza one time. I had one pizza one time, and now that's the only pizza I ever order.
And that's Hamburger pizza.
From Casey's.
Listen, I played the other rogues, okay? I just prefer Dima. What's wrong with that?
All right, man.
There's nothing. We're not mean shaming you. It's just that one time you got really, really mad because I accidentally picked Dima and you yelled at me the entire match because I wasn't playing him correctly.
But when I do Dima, I do Dima right.
See, this is why I picked.
If you pick Dima, you got a main slay.
Everybody needs a medic.
Everybody does.
That's where I find my niche.
So, speaking of people that need medics,
Mm-hmm.
what about those peoples in Fall Guy Tokyo that are going to need to have medics after Godzilla stomps on all of the jelly beans?
These next level transitions. I had not yet. So Fall Guys is getting a Godzilla tie-in skin, where you have a little Godzilla head on your little Fall Guy head, and he's holding a little car. It looks like, and fuck, I don't want to have to play that game enough to earn a bunch of crowns.
To get Godzilla.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not going to buy any crowns, but God, I want it so bad.
There's also something else coming in your future, Andrew.
Oh, what's that?
You're going to be spending some money on some Z-Bucks here in the next couple years. Because
They're V-Bucks.
What? Sure. That's
You code Hova. What's my code? Shit, I have a creator code. Jehovah HD. Yeah.
Because I use your code because I'm a good friend.
Hell yeah. Like the only person that uses it.
you're gonna be buying more V-Bucks or Z-Bucks or X-Bucks because
Xbox 360.
they're gonna keep doing some more Marvel tie-ins over the next few years and the old foreskins.
As everybody who loves video games as a passion, spends a lot of time playing, I was inundated with fucking, Fortnite stuff for so many years, and I never enjoyed it. And then they do this fucking Marvel tie-in season, and I buy a season pass, and all of a sudden, I've finished the season pass, and I'm like halfway through lapping it, essentially.
Jesus.
And my
double stage, dude?
Yeah, that's me and my son now. We just hang out, we play Fortnite, have a good time. I get to be Daredevil. It's all I've ever wanted.
There's still duos in that game, right?
Yeah. We'll play duos or squads. Typically.
So I think I saw a clip of somebody that like got a win and they were like dressed as a Ghostbuster and they said, and did they okay, are you still just fighting other people, or are there like actually like mini objectives and stuff like that, or like how does a match work?
At this exact moment, right now, they're in their annual Fortnightmares event.
Right.
So there's also a Ghostbusters tie-in. So if you want to get a Proton pack, go ahead, spend your V-Bucks. If you want
Don't cross the beams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But currently the main mode that everybody's playing, if you're not playing competitively, is basically like a normal match, but once you die, you come back as a ghost. And
that's what I saw, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
And then you kind of run around the map as a ghost. You don't have any ranged attacks, but you have melee attacks, and you're really fast. And so basically, yeah, any ghosts can win the match. Like the ghost team as a whole can kind of win the match, or it can be last man standing, like a normal sort of Fortnite match.
So Call of Duty Warzone is doing a similar thing right now with zombies, and I haven't played Warzone in months and wasn't really interested, but got on the other day and played with some buddies, and it's pretty fucking cool. So if you die, you become a zombie, and everybody that dies drops a vial of whatever, and you can respawn. So we were playing 3-man squads. If you turn into a zombie, you can still respawn and help your team if you get 2 vials. So, and they show on the map, so you can just like go try to get them from people that have already died. But all the zombies in the map are trying to get these vials so that they can respawn and stuff like that. You know, they're highly valuable, obviously. And it's fucking crazy. The first match that we played, we actually ended up getting a win. And I died like 6 or 7 times, but every time you become a zombie, you know, you're really fast. You've got this like jump, you like hold right click and it charges, and you can jump like fucking 150 feet. And you've got like these zombie stun grenades basically that are like some sort of a gas bomb or something. And you can basically melee people and like 2 or 3 shot them, you know, so you're quicker and all that. But it's actually it's pretty fucking cool. And they did this thing to where there's loot crates in the game, you know, that you have to get your weapons and gear and stuff out of. So there's a random chance that when you're opening chests that sometimes you just get a jump scare. It'll just be like a scary little ghost face or whatever, and it's really loud in your headphones. And it's rare enough that when it does happen, like the few times it happens, it'll actually scare the shit out of you. It's pretty fucking cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
I saw also they added Leatherface and the Saw Puppet to that as well as skins. Is that right?
Which can be pretty fucking terrifying at certain times. You know, you're in a darker map and you're not expecting to like come into a room and Jigsaw's in your fucking face. It's pretty cool. Those skins are like $20 a piece. So
I spent so much time playing Dead by Daylight, man. So much time playing with fucking Leatherface.
Ow.
Right.
His visage is very familiar to me.
Fuck it.
Get.
Yep. You doing all right there?
You just beat that pussy up,
new pet owner?
He attacked my fucking foot for no fucking reason.
I heard it's because you didn't give him any soft food today.
No, I did give him soft food because he was complaining. He got the food.
Okay, so now he's being just a little shit.
He wants that catnip, bro. He wants one of them hitters.
So you're his dealer? You're his supplier?
Yeah. I got that kitty crack, bro.
Yeah. Frank just committed or admitted to a crime. Allegedly.
Selling that meowiwana.
That shit's fucking funny, though.
Possession of catnip is not a crime. It's if you have intent to sell.
It's the intent to distribute.
It's crazy how much shit has changed just with, you know, the perception of all that stuff. Like going into PetSmart, PetSmart. I don't remember what we have in Stadia, but seeing like vials of meowiwana and everything, you know, that's like obviously they try to make it look like it's medicinal marijuana.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It looks like at first glance you're like, oh shit, what the fuck? And then you're like, oh okay, catnip, I get it. But it's just crazy. Like when we were kids, if we saw anything like that on a shelf anywhere, we would have been like, the fuck?
Yeah.
His toys.
And you would have bought all of it that you could afford.
Yeah, and we would have been like trying to smoke it in 9th grade.
One of his catnip toys is literally a hot air balloon, and it says it's going to get your cat higher than a hot air balloon or something.
That's awesome.
Did Missouri vote to legalize?
Medicinal. It's legalized medicinally. There's a few medicinal stores in Sedalia that I think are opening really soon, actually. Which is really weird because there's still a lot of Bible thumpers out here.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. Proud of you, Missouri. You did one thing right.
Fuck you.
It's surprising, honestly. I never thought it would happen here, but and they're trying to get it recreational.
How bad is I don't really follow this stuff like I should, but how bad is the opioid problem in Missouri?
It's
not as bad as the meth problem.
Isn't that a problem? All right.
Oh, it's not a problem at all. No.
Okay. Well, I don't know these things, man.
Not as bad as the pseudoephedrine problem.
Yeah. Oh no, it's still both are bad. Both are still bad. Bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of tweakers in our town, but I think the majority of it's meth. I see meth heads all the time, but they're easier to spot too, probably.
That was always the thing you would hear about people robbing the fertilizer plant or whatever.
Yeah.
That one guy lost like all those fingers.
Cool.
Because he was all fucked up and high, and he was trying to steal the anhydrous, but he tried to pour it into like a 5-gallon bucket to steal it, and he didn't know if anyone was coming out or not, so he waved his hand under it, and it
bad idea.
And it froze all of his shit. That happened like in between the high school and the elementary school.
Yeah,
on that highway.
I feel like I've never seen meth, and I feel like that's weird, just as like common as it is out here.
Good for you. You're one of the lucky ones.
You've seen meth?
Not out there, but yes.
Okay, cool. I think drugs are fascinating. That's like my favorite thing to. Frank, you're being suspiciously quiet.
I've never done
it, but I've seen it.
I was at a Walmart in, I can't remember where it was. I think it was maybe Ohio. And a couple standing in line in front of me were causing some issues at the cashier. And in one of the people there rifling through her purse, accidentally dropped a small bag of white powder on the ground. I was like,
Oof.
I'm pretty sure that ain't Coke.
Yeah. You would not believe it. We've actually found it. People they lose their bags, and then they come back like, have you guys like seen anything like laying around that you picked up and thrown away?
Just a little bag,
Just a
something.
little
Check
bag.
the lost and found.
Yeah. No, we've got your fucking your meth baggie at the front counter. But you have to prove it's yours, and then we'll give it back. Okay. Can you describe what your meth looked like, sir?
What was it called? Was it called Spiderweb? Was it called 8-Ball?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Well, what baggie did you have? What style baggie did you have it in? I was actually leaving Walmart today, right before I got on with you guys, and I'm loading my groceries in the back of the truck, and I hear, "Hey, brother," and I'm like, "Oh shit." And I look over, and there's this dude sitting in his like Mustang or some shit. He's just sitting there with the window down. It's like 30 degrees outside, so that's weird already. He's like, "Hey man, you happen to know anybody that wants to buy some brand new polo boots?" And I'm like, nope, don't think I do, man. And he was just like, all right. And then he watched me load the rest of my groceries into the back of the truck before I left. So that was fun.
I was used to.
I didn't even know Polo made boots, but
They're like
We would have those. We'd have those guys come in when I worked at one of the restaurants I worked at. Especially the kitchen was like sort of right in front. Like there was basically no divider between the dining area and the cooking area. And so you'd have these guys come in, these hustlers walk in with bags full of merch, be like, "What size you want? You want some jorts? Some jorts? We got some boots. What do you wear?" And then, on occasion somebody would actually buy something and he'd be like, "Okay, you got a lighter?" And then they'd have to like burn the security tag off, like standing right next to him. Like, we all know what the deal is, but jeez.
The fence comes to you sometimes.
Our flat top grill broke once, and the people delivering our new one didn't know anything about what they were doing apparently, and they left it outside, and somebody took it, and somebody then saw a person with a like 8-foot long flat top grill, electric flat top, sticking out of a shopping cart.
I can't even imagine.
The neighborhood trying to find people to buy it.
That probably costs like $20,000.
Easily a few $1,000s.
It was a few grand. Yeah, it wasn't a nice one, Frank. It was like an electric kind of crummy one, but like still shit.
Yeah, I was just pricing some of those because I almost went down that one business venture. I don't know if you guys remember that. I was looking at some like 36 to 42 inchers or something like that, and they weren't that bad. They're like in the $500 to $1,000, $1,500 range, but I can't imagine like a nice big like 8-foot one.
It was not that big. My spatial perception is all wrong. It's like 4 feet. Right, it was like probably half that big, but it's still pretty heavy.
Probably the same size one that I was used to. Yeah, the big. Yeah, because it's a solid fucking like 3-inch block of whatever that is.
I'm just saying, I don't know what business you're talking about, but I would cook food with you during the fair every year.
Dude, I have always, like, if you really want to at some point, I've always wanted to do a food truck. And I'd 100% be down. I just don't have the time to run it. You know what I mean? I would need people to run it the majority of the time for me. And then obviously it gets, like you have to be careful there because the more people you have working it, you can't make too much money out here. You basically have to work your own shit if you can. So, But I've always wanted to do a food truck, man.
This food truck culture made it out, made it in from the coast?
Yep. There's even in Sedalia, man. There's a Mexican food truck that's always over by the furniture store across from Walmart. And there's a Chinese one that's out on South 65, and there's a few, and every once in a while when they have like the Ragtime Fest and stuff over there by the courthouse, there'll be 4, 5 different food trucks out there.
Nice.
It's pretty cool to see.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's the Scott Joplin Festival. Can you get it right? It's not just Ragtime.
Oh,
it's
the Ragu Fest. I'm sorry.
The Ragu
Fest. Yeah. My bad.
So
the Ragu Festival.
We got a place.
A stupid goat.
The KC Euro guys. Did you ever get to eat them whenever you were out here, Andrew?
No, that doesn't sound familiar.
Oh yeah. So like all your Greek Mediterranean whatever, and then they've got like these like health food smoothies and shit. Oh, it's good. It's great.
There's a
All about the euros.
Roach coaches are making a comeback, and they're
Fuck
coming out
yeah.
to the Midwest fast. Even Warrensburg had a.
I've
had
always
a
been about food
festival.
trucks, man.
There's a kick-ass
Food trucks are great.
there's a kick-ass little Philly cheesesteak place out in Queens that it's not even mobile anymore. It looks like it was at one point and isn't anymore. And it is parked under the awning, the like big overhang in front of a Home Depot, and it just lives there. And if you go in there,
Hell
you
yeah.
know they're cash only. It's just really good, and they got a little picture on the wall of Danny DeVito eating there. You know,
Nice.
I love that place. It's so
So-
good. I can't even remember the name of it. I think it's Rocco's. It's delicious.
Did you spend much time down at like the River District where City Market and stuff is?
No, not really, because I grew up on the other side of the river.
Okay.
Dude, City Market is sick today.
Have you ever been to the Asian market that's like a block away from City Market? The big one, the one that's like huge, not the smaller one.
I've been to some of the ones that are down there. Yeah.
There's one of them has had a food truck parked in front of it for like the past easily 6 years. It's the same thing that's been there for forever. I don't know if it's still there because it's been like 2 years since it's been a year and a half since I've been to City Market. So now it's just awkward going to like a farmer's market by yourself, right? And
It's a little weird, yeah.
Yeah. But
Frank, have you been to oh, sorry, I thought you were finished.
oh no. I was just on his story. Like there's that food that Roach Coach has been sitting in front of that Asian market for years. Has not moved.
You don't even know if it has wheels anymore.
They're all dry rotted.
Doesn't need them.
Posted up on Twitter.
Have you guys, I don't know how long it's been there, so Andrew, you might know of it, you might not, but have you guys been to Minsky's?
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah, in the past.
Minsky's is fucking good, man. So I went to Kansas City after the Super Bowl for the parade, and the parade started like right there behind that River Market spot where Minsky's is. So as soon as obviously we were some of the first people for the parade to finish because we were right at the beginning, and we were like, it would have been cool to be down at the end where the stage was, and by the time all the players got there, they were fucking drunk, and it was pretty funny. But we just watched the whole parade from the very beginning, walked over to Minsky's, got a table, and watched the rest of the parade on the TVs. And their pizza is fucking good, man. Minsky's is the shit if you're in the KC area.
It used to be one of those in Lawrence. It's not there anymore, though, I think it's gone.
There's one place close to me that will give Minsky's a really good run for their money.
Really?
So I've got over in Raymore, I've got a Minsky's I can go to. But also up in Grandview, I can go there, and they've got a place called Providence Pizza. And I don't know, it's probably like a month or two back. I sent you guys pictures of these personal Detroit style pan pizzas. That I think me and my boss, we spent $60. We spent $30 each on lunch. And it was well, you can't show me this menu and not expect me to spend $30.
Get one of each, yeah.
Yeah. And I only got 2 things. Oh, so good though. I love Minsky's though. And if you ever go to Minsky's, get their wings, get their giant wings.
Why I didn't get any wings.
All right.
I'll take
that note.
There's 2 places in KC that I absolutely love, and that's Minsky's and Oklahoma Joe's, the gas station. I've never been to any of the other ones, but I know that the gas station's the spot.
That's where you go. If you're gonna go to one, go to that one.
Yeah.
I've been to the one in LA a few times, just because it's slightly closer to Lawrence, so it's not quite as much of a drive, but it's worth it. It's worth it to just make the extra, 10, 15 minutes to make it.
The gas station is the one where all the celebrities have been.
That's the real one. That's the legit one.
Yeah. It's so convenient though because it takes so long to get there. You're almost out of fuel, so while you get your barbecue, you may as well fill up your tank. It's a solid business decision.
You get your barbecue, you fill your gas tank, you buy a pack of Marlboro Reds, and you also buy a bunch of Frisbee golf discs because they sell those.
The fact that they still have, it's the tiniest little joint ever. The parking's terrible, and they still have a row or maybe 2 rows that are. It's still a convenience store. It just blows my mind every time I'm in there. It's so cool. I love it. It was really intimidating. I know that's one of the most intimidating spots I've ever eaten at. It reminded me of going into In-N-Out the first time, there's like a way, there's like a flow that you have to like be accustomed to. You have to know how to order your burger and everything. Oklahoma Joe's was the same way. Like you go over there, if I remember correctly, they like you talk to the person running the register and they just like yell it back to the kitchen as you say it. And so you're like just totally scatterbrained, like hoping you're going to say it right. I don't know. It was pretty intimidating.
You feel like you're on the spot for a minute there.
Very much. The first time is.
There's always so many fucking people behind you too that you're like, oh god, I got to do this fast.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck this up for everybody else, and most of these people are probably locals that eat here regularly. So,
even though that line is always long as hell, they keep it moving, man. You get through that
somehow. You get through. Yeah. Yep.
Well, that seems like the lull.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Yeah.
Are you drinking?
And that's when we know.
Corn water? What are you drinking?
You drinking a corn on the cob?
Basically, dude. No, we haven't made our home brew yet, so I'm stuck with Busch Light, dude.
Yeah, because our home brew is going to be like 85% fucking methanol, and we're going to go blind.
Nah, dude. We'll watch enough YouTube videos with a bunch of Kentucky inbred old people they'll tell us what to do, man.
YouTube, man. That's how we do. That's how the world works now.
Yeah, you got to run off like the first certain so many milliliters, right? Based on how many gallons you brew. Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll be fine. Clearly, I know what I'm talking about. We'll feed the first cup to the dog.
Thanks, Javelin, for letting us use Soda Popinski as our little intro. We appreciate that.
Leandro.
Thanks, Tyler Edwards, for your art.
Yeah.
Supplied us with.
Thanks to the patrons.
Thank you to
doing the patron things. If you guys haven't watched the first piece of patron only content, it's still there and ready to be viewed. And if I remember correctly, Andrew edited the roles to where anybody and everybody, no matter how much your contribution is, has access to that patron only content.
I forgot to do that, but I will do that now.
And I'm positive of this as well. I was just as positive of Andrew already changing it, which he did. Wink, wink. At anytime you decide you want to be a patron, all the previous content unlocks for you. It's not like you get it from that point forward. You'll get the backlog of content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can still get in there.
Yeah. I got pics of my balls on there, so.
No, you don't.
Yep, that's a lie.
Patreon does not allow us to sell adult content.
My balls would be on there. Patreon. We're launching our OnlyFans soon.
Yes, we'll have our OnlyFans up.
Yep.
Pictures of my armpits and feet.
Frank doing all kinds of dirty things with that nub.
Does anybody have something that we can end this on?
Go buy Pokemon cards.
No, it's the word. What's the word?
I got
Pokemon cards.
G.I. Joe.